Hi, we're back with Michel Archambault, which is Director for Business Development for Hydrogenics / Cummins, because believe it or not, the huge company Cummins, which makes engines for big trucks, is that it?
It's more than this. They have lots of powertrains, lots of power solution, whether it's stationary power as mobility power.
Okay. So now Cummins, just bought Hydrogenics here, which has been in hydrogen technology for many years now, huh?
Yeah, it's about 70 years in the making. We've been making electrolysis plants around the world since 1948. In 2005, a company by the name of Hydrogenics acquired all that electrolysis technology portfolio. So we have two divisions, one making hydrogen and one producing power with hydrogen, and it's electric power with fuel cells.
Okay. And we are here today in Quebec City with the first electrolysis system to produce hydrogen for hydrogen cars. That's it?
That's correct. We're at the station in Wilfrid Ahmed in Quebec, where we're producing by electrolysis, so clean electricity from Quebec, splitting water and producing hydrogen and oxygen. That hydrogen is then sent to a compression system into storage and then refueling the cars as they come at the station.
Okay. And this station costs about $5.5 million, Mr. Hanois was telling us earlier. And what part of this is the cost of this station? Is it 50%, 80%? You have an idea?
It's about 75% of the cost would be equipment. So now that you have to know we have like the technology to produce on site. We don't need to bring the fuel or deliver the fuel. It's directly produced here, right?
And so it gives you cleaner hydrogen because it's made from hydroelectricity. It's made from renewable energy.
Correct. It's also a way to store energy. Right now, there's the electrolysis is able to absorb power as the need comes, right? So you have no vehicle, you don't have to produce hydrogen, but if, for example, we're connected to Hydro-Quebec, they can ask us to produce a revenue service or to produce demand service, as you call them, or grid services.
Okay. But 95% of hydrogen produced in North America, and mostly around the world, is made from fossil fuel, mainly natural gas. And when you're in North America, it's mainly shale gas. So it means that when you don't have an electrolysis system like this, most people getting their hydrogen will get it from fossil fuels. So it's not as green. But you say, well, with electrolysis, this is better. But my friend there, the physicist Pierre Langlois, was telling me, Daniel, the efficiency factor here is about 3 to 1 compared to electric cars, meaning that with the amount of energy that you need to get an electric car to do 100 kilometers, you're going to need about 3 times more energy for a hydrogen car to go and do 100 kilometers. What do you answer to that?
Well, there's two parts to the question. Correct. There's 95% of the world's hydrogen consumption, which comes from natural gas. This is correct. However, you have to know that these markets are actually very big markets to make fertilizer. And also the biggest one is probably the refining market. So when you take gasoline, you're taking actually gasoline and natural gas that's broken down into hydrogen to refine gasoline. We are actually here to substitute all the gasoline and all these carbon fuels. So with hydrogen, which is renewable. The second part of the question is about the 2 to 3 times that you mentioned the efficiency. Yeah. That is also correct. I mean, there's no way to reinvent physics, right? It takes about 50 to 55 kilowatt hour per kilogram with electrolysis today to produce, that kilogram of hydrogen, which will bring you 100 kilometer.
So this is the average 1 kilogram of hydrogen would get you with a car about 100 kilometers.
That's today's figure. It's about 100 kilometer, as it is the case with every technology, which is a new technology now.
Well, not that new, because they were telling me at Toyota that they've been at it for 20 years.
But I'm assuming that over time the kilowatt hour per kilogram will change. On our technology, for sure, it's going down, so we're getting more efficient. And we're building now, for example, a large plant in Quebec with Air Liquide. It's 8,000 kilogram per day. And just on a cost basis...
In Bécancour, I think.
In Bécancour, exactly. And on a cost basis per kilogram, the capex is substantially lower than the electrolyzer here, just because of the volume. Similarly, when you're talking about fuel cells, the efficiency of the fuel cell is going up, right? So the range is getting better with the lower hydrogen quantities. So these two drivers basically will bring the cost of hydrogen down and the performance of the vehicles increase as well.
Okay. And with the oil companies getting into the market of producing hydrogen, because there are some companies that say, well, we want to get our whole portfolio a bit greener, there can be quite a bit of competition because these guys are not, I mean, they don't play around between you and me. So how do you see the competition with these companies?
Right now, legislation is changing around the world. So some jurisdictions are now forbidding to buy new diesel buses, for example. And so the amount of pollution or the amount of fossil fuel we can bring into the market is actually lower. So these companies have to diversify. So it's no surprise that a diesel company like Cummins invested in Hydrogenics. And it's no surprise that all these petroleum companies are part of the Hydrogen Council in Europe. So if you don't know this council, actually it's a good one to go to see. There's a lot of studies that have been published which explain what is the complete cost of the fuel cell powertrain, but where is it going? What kind of industry need hydrogen and what's going to be the cost in the future and why it makes sense to switch. So these petroleum companies are involved in a transition using hydrogen as well.
Are they involved or are they starting to slow down the transition? Because I've seen that in the past.
I personally believe at this point in time we're at the
Tipping point?
We're at a tipping point, and there's consolidation happening in industry. Today, like a month ago, was Cummins acquiring Hydrogenics, but another fuel cells company was acquired last week, and it's just starting to get there. People are now investing in hydrogen technologies as a way to diversify their portfolio and increase their powertrain options.
Michel Archambault, thanks a lot.
Pleasure.
Et voilà.